Hello friends, welcome to the video lessons on electronic measuring instruments. In today's class, we are going to discuss about signal generators. Before we discuss about signal generators, let us try to recollect what we have seen in the last class. We have seen a digital frequency meter and specifications of digital frequency meter in the last class. Basically, digital frequency meter is an instrument used, an electronic instrument used for the measurement of frequency and to produce a digital display of the frequency. It mainly consists of an oscillator circuit which provides a gating pulse to an AND gate, and the other input to the AND gate is the unknown frequency signal. When the oscillator output is set by using decade counters so that the gating time duration is 1 second, then in a duration of 1 second, the AND gate allows number of cycles of the unknown frequency input signal. So the output of AND gate, when counted by using a digital counter, then at the end of 1 second of gating pulse duration, the count on the digital counter is a direct indicative of the frequency of unknown signal. That is the basic principle employed. And we have seen various specifications and all according to the requirement, which type of frequency meter we have to select, what is its operating temperature range, what is its frequency range. All these details were discussed in the last class. Then, coming to the present topic, let us try to analyze the basics of signal generator and their classification, requirements of a signal generator, and then block diagram of audio frequency oscillator and its working. Waveform generator is the most widely used test instrument in various fields like process industries, communication applications, research applications, laboratory applications, and automation applications. In all these applications, we need frequencies of known, signals of known frequencies over a wide range. And signal generator serves the purpose of providing the signals of different frequencies for different applications. Basically, what is a signal generator? A signal generator is the source of generating AC signals, signals of different frequencies, different shapes, and the signal can be either analog or digital. Different waveforms like sinusoidal signal, square wave signal, triangular signal, sawtooth signal, as well as amplitude modulated waveforms also can be generated by a signal generator. That is, a signal generator provides both analog and digital signals of different shapes and frequencies, such as sinusoidal, square wave, triangular, sawtooth signals, and also amplitude modulated signals also are generated by a signal generator. Basic requirements of a signal generator. If we want to use a signal generator, what are the basic requirements that we have to check for? The frequency of the signal generated should be known and stable. When we take a signal generator, the frequency of the signal produced should be known, and the frequency should be stable also. That means over a period of time it has to be same. It has to remain the same without any changes in frequency. When a signal generator is set for producing a certain frequency, say 1 kilohertz, so over a period of time it has to produce the same 1 kilohertz signal. There should not be any deviation like 999 hertz or 1.1 kilohertz like that. The second one is amplitude of the signal should be controllable and stable. Even the amplitude of the signal also should be stable, and controllable means it can be it should be possible for the user to vary the amplitude of the signal. A provision should be there in the signal generator to vary the amplitude of the signal. And the third one is the produced signal by the signal generator should be distortion free. There should not be any distortion in the signal produced. So what are the three conditions? First condition, there should be a provision to read out the frequency of the signal, or to know the frequency of the signal produced, and that frequency should be stable, and there should be a provision to change the magnitude of the signal or amplitude of the signal, and that should be stable, and the signal should be distortion free, free from distortion. These are the three important requirements for any signal generator. Next, classification of signal generators. Based on the range of frequencies that are produced by the signal generator, signal generators can be classified as audio frequency oscillators, referred to as AFOs, and the range of frequency signals generated is from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. Radio frequency oscillators, referred to as RFOs, and the range of frequencies generated is from 20 kilohertz to 30 megahertz. Next, Video frequency oscillators. Video frequency oscillators. The range of signal frequencies is from DC, that is 0 Hz to 30 megahertz. Very high frequency oscillators. VHFOs. HFOs. The range of frequencies generated is 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. Ultra high frequency oscillators, referred to as UHFOs. The range of frequencies lies between 300 megahertz to 3000 megahertz. And microwave frequency oscillators, MFOs. These oscillators produce signals beyond 3000 megahertz. Beyond 3000 megahertz. So, what are the various types? Audio frequency oscillators, radio frequency oscillators, video frequency oscillators, very high frequency oscillators, ultra high frequency oscillators, and microwave frequency oscillators. This is the classification of signal generators based on the range of frequencies generated. Next, based on the waveform generated or based on the shape of waveform generated, they are sine wave oscillators and relaxation oscillators. Sine wave oscillators produce pure sinusoidal signal, and all other signals except for sinusoidal signal like triangular, rectangular, sawtooth, spikes, all these are all these come under the category of relaxation oscillators. That is, oscillators producing non-sinusoidal signals are called as relaxation oscillators. Next, based on the design principle, oscillators are designed or classified as feedback oscillators and negative resistance oscillators. Feed, feedback oscillators and negative resistance oscillators. Here, a practically used audio frequency oscillator model. You can see here. Here is the power supply switch on and off. This is from AB Electronics, Chennai, and the output is taken from these two terminals. And this is for continuous frequency adjustment. Continuous frequency adjustment. Starting from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, it goes on up to 20. That is in one particular frequency range. Here you can see the frequency range. Here this is the first one is from 1 Hz to 10 Hz. The second one is 10 Hz to 100 Hz. When this switch is in the third position, it produces frequencies 100 hertz to 1000 hertz. That means 100 hertz, 200 hertz, 300 hertz, 400 hertz in terms of hundreds. And fourth one is in terms of 1 kilohertz. That is 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, and so on. And the fifth one is 10 kilohertz. This is up to 100 kilohertz. It will so this audio frequency oscillator produces frequencies starting from 1 hertz to 100 kilohertz, and it can produce signals of sinusoidal or square wave. A function select switch is there. You can see it produces either a sinusoidal signal when the switch is in this direction, and a square wave signal when the switch is changed to this position. And the amplitude of the signal here, there is a provision for continuous adjustment of the amplitude. By adjusting this potentiometer, you can vary the amplitude of the signal. At the same time, for range also there is a provision. Range selection also there is a provision. When the push button type switch is released, it is 1 volt range. When the push button switch is pressed in, it is 10 volts range. 10 volts range. That means from 1 volt to 10 volt, you can use the first switch, first range. From 10 volts to 100 volts, you can use the second range. So that is about the model Y2 of AB Electronics audio frequency oscillator. Another design of audio frequency oscillator here. Please, here also you can see power on switch. This is MTQ 1811 model from Metro Industries. Output is available here. Amplitude can be continuously adjusted here, and multiplier is available. 2 multiplied with 1, multiplied with 10, multiplied with 100, multiplied with 1000. This is for frequency adjustment starting from 20 to 200. A continuous frequency adjustment knob is here. And here you have a function selection knob. First one is for square wave, second one is triangular, and the third one is sinusoid. Second one is sinusoidal. Yes, first one is square wave, second is sinusoidal, third one is triangular. So this produces the three signals, three types of signals. Another oscillator. Uh, this is for adjustment of amplitude, and this is for selection of sine wave or rectangular wave, and this is for continuous adjustment of frequency, and this is for range selection of frequency, and the output can be taken out here. This is indicator. And this is what we use in our laboratories from Multitech Systems MTS FG01. It has got a push button switch here. All are push button switches actually here for range selection, function selection, and multiplier also. Here is amplitude can be continuously adjusted, and by pressing in it will be multiplied with 1. So by releasing it, it is multiplied with 1. By pressing it in, it is multiplied with 0.1. That is 1 by 10th of the amplitude. And here range selection for frequencies. 10 kilohertz range, that is in terms of 10. When you vary the frequency here, it will change in terms of tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. In the second set, it is 100 hertz range. Third one, 1000 hertz range. Then kilohertz, 10 kilohertz range, 100 kilohertz range, 1000 kilohertz range. And this is for triangular wave. This is for sinusoidal wave. This is for sawtooth wave. And here on off switch. And this is for DC offset. That is, if the signal produced is having any DC offset voltage, that is in combination to the AC signal, if any DC also is there in the signal, that can be nullified by using this DC offset knob, either by applying a positive DC voltage or negative DC voltage to the signal circuit. And here VCO input, that is external frequency signal, can be applied here to this in order to lock the frequency of the external signal to the frequency of this. That is to produce a phase locked loop, PLL. Here VCO input can be provided from an external frequency generator. And TTL output, you can take the output from this to TTL circuits. Standard 1 kilohertz frequency signal would be available from here. So that is about this type of function generator. And the basic form of a signal generator consists only two parts. One is oscillator, the other one is attenuator. Purpose of oscillator is to produce signal of known frequency and known shape. The frequency should be adjustable and the shape also should be selectable. That is the purpose of oscillator. And purpose of attenuator is to select the amplitude or to select the level of the AC input. Just like this amplitude selection with this uh, amplitude range knob. This portion, entire portion is frequency portion, and this portion is amplitude portion. And the combination of these two produces known amplitude, known frequency, variable amplitude, variable frequency, variable shape output signal. Simplest form of a sinusoidal signal generator or sine wave generator is it covers a frequency range of few hertz to several megahertz, gigahertz. It mainly consists of two blocks, an oscillator and an attenuator. The performance of the signal generator depends on the accuracy and stability of oscillator frequency. This we discussed in the beginning itself. The requirement on any signal generator is it should be the frequency should be known and should be stable. Then amplitude depends on the design of attenuator. Similarly, amplitude should be adjustable and it should be stable. So the requirements are to be fulfilled. That is why these conditions. The performance depends on accuracy and stability of the oscillator frequency, and amplitude depends on the design of attenuator. When these two are good, then the output signal will be highly accurate one. Next, audio frequency oscillators can be mainly of three types. One is RC oscillator, that is resistor capacitor oscillator. In the oscillator circuit, we use only resistors and capacitors. The second one is LC oscillators, inductor capacitor oscillators. In this circuit, in these circuits of oscillators, we use inductors and capacitors. And the third one is beat frequency oscillators. This is a entirely different category of oscillators. We will see about this after uh, this about RC and LC. RC phase shift and Weinbridge oscillators are commonly used as they provide good frequency stability and distortion-free waveform. Distortion-free waveform. That is in case of RC oscillators. So widely used RC oscillators are, one is RC phase shift oscillator and the other one is Weinbridge oscillators. And other types of oscillators also are available, but these two provide good frequency stability and distortion free waveform, and that is why these two are widely used in RC oscillators category. The second one is LC oscillators. In LC oscillators, the oscillator provides 180 degrees phase shift due to inductive and capacitive coupling, in addition to phase shift of 180 degrees produced by transistor or op amp. Actually, for any oscillator, the basic condition is to satisfy Barkhausen criteria. What Barkhausen criteria states is an oscillator is a positive feedback circuit and it produces a loop. In order to produce sustained oscillations at the output, the loop gain of the oscillator should be unity and the loop phase shift of the oscillator should be 360 degrees. Should be 360 degrees. That is carried out in, that is satisfied in RC phase shift oscillators and Weinbridge oscillators based on RC components. And here L and C components, they will also provide phase shift. A pure inductor also provides 90 degrees phase shift. Pure capacitor also provides 90 degrees phase shift. If one is leading, the other one is lagging. So during during forward bias, 180 degrees phase shift is produced by the L and C components, and the remaining 180 degrees phase shift is provided by the amplifier. Amplifier is in the forward path and L and C would be in the feedback path. I told, I think, L and C in the forward path. No. Amplifier is in the forward path which produces 180 degrees phase shift, and the feedback part, positive feedback, is provided by the LC circuit which provides additional 180 phase shift, total 360 phase shift, thus fulfilling the Barkhausen criteria. In a radio receiver, yes, this is about RC and LC oscillators. Next one is beat frequency oscillator. In a radio receiver, A beat frequency oscillator or BFO is a dedicated oscillator used to create audio frequency signal from Morse code radio telegraphy transmissions to make them audible. Particularly in intelligence services, in order to transmit secret coded information, Morse code would be used, and that Morse code is decoded by this beat frequency oscillator and produces audio signal. That is, it produces a signal which is audible. That is beat frequency oscillator significance. And the beat frequency oscillator is used to provide a variable frequency output in the audio frequency range. BFO, that is beat frequency oscillator, is used when the need comes to cover a wide range of frequencies with a single dial rotation. When the requirement comes to vary the frequency over a wide range using a single dial rotation, it can be performed using this beat frequency oscillator. It can be performed using beat frequency oscillator. The beat frequency oscillator mainly consists of two radio frequency oscillators. Here is the point which is very interesting. Actually, the circuit of a beat frequency oscillator consists of two radio frequency signals which are not audible. One of the oscillator gives a fixed frequency and the other one produces variable frequency. In decoding circuit of Morse code, the Morse code data is converted into variable frequency. Fixed frequency RF oscillator would be internally available in BFO, and Morse code data transmitted is converted into variable frequency. Now, the difference of these two frequencies, that is the fixed RF frequency and the variable RF frequency difference, definitely, say for example, actually audio frequency range is up to 20 kilohertz. Let us assume that some fixed RF oscillator is providing some 100 kilohertz frequency and the variable oscillator is providing some 110 to 120 kilohertz frequency. Then what would be the difference? Difference would be obviously between 10 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz. The 10 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz, it will be under the category of audio frequency. That is how audio frequencies are generated using two radio frequencies in a beat frequency oscillator. So the decoded information will not be audible as such. When it is applied to a beat frequency oscillator, then it produces an audio frequency signal, and when that is given to a speaker, then speaker set, then you can get a audible signal. The variable frequency will be slightly different from the fixed frequency. The fixed and variable frequency outputs are fed to a heterodyne or mixer device. What is the function of heterodyne or mixer device? It produces F1 plus or minus F2. It produces two signals, which is the addition one signal and subtraction two signal. Now, using high frequency filters, in addition to BFO, that is BFO output beat frequency oscillator output, in the circuit of the beat frequency oscillator, then first is radio frequency oscillator fixed one, second one is radio frequency oscillator variable one, which receives data from Morse code. The output of those two is given to a heterodyne mixer. From that, you will get two frequency signals, F1 plus F2 and F1 minus F2. Then that two signals are given to a low pass filter. Then low pass filter allows only F1 minus F2 signal and blocks F1 plus F2 signal. Then that F1 minus F2 signal is a audio frequency signal and the output of BFO, and that is given to the speaker assembly in order to hear the audio signal. The sum and difference terms of frequencies F1 and F2 are obtained as the output of the mixer. If it is so arranged that the different terms of the frequencies F1 and F2 lies in the audio frequency range. All the RF components leaving only the audio frequency difference component are removed in the RF filter. That is, whatever is the radio frequency is filtered out, and only audio frequency difference signal only is left out and is produced at the output of BFO. Audio frequency output is then amplified and is given to the output as audio frequency signal. So that is all about beat frequency oscillator. Now let us see the principle. Already we have seen the basic principle of RC oscillator. Let us see the block diagram here. Amplifier with 180 degrees phase shift in the forward path and phase shift network beta with 180 degrees phase shift in the feedback path produces 360 degrees full phase shift, and we will get oscillations here at the output without attenuation. Stable oscillations would be produced. The amplifier is used in the oscillator in inverting amplifier mode. The inverting amplifier produces 180 degrees phase shift along with the amplification of the signal. A positive feedback network with suitable R and C components provides another 180 degrees phase shift, thus satisfying the Barkhausen criteria for oscillators. Amplifier input impedance is much larger than the output impedance of the phase shift network. Amplifier input impedance is much larger than the output impedance of the phase shift network. So there would be no signal loss. Alternately, positive feedback also obtained by using two stages of amplifiers, each providing 180 degrees phase shift as used in Wien-Bridge oscillators. So in case of Wien-Bridge oscillators, no feedback circuit is used. Instead of that, additional 180 degrees phase shift is obtained using another negative amplifier, producing 180 degrees phase shift. Total 360 degrees. So the circuit arrangement would be totally different in RC oscillators. One is in RC phase shift oscillators. Using RC elements in the feedback path, we will get 180 degrees phase shift. Whereas in case of Wien-Bridge oscillator, two amplifiers, each producing 180 degrees phase shift, are used to produce a 360 degrees phase shift. Now, how to select an oscillator circuit? Factors to be considered while selecting an oscillator for a particular application. The first one is frequency range. First one is frequency range. Oscillator should be capable of providing upper and lower frequency limits. Oscillator should be capable of providing upper and lower frequency limits. That means when we need a certain frequency signals, then the oscillator should be in a position to provide both upper frequency as well as lower frequency. Second one is power and or voltage. Oscillators should be capable of providing required power or required voltage. In addition to the frequency range required by the user, we have to check for whether the oscillator circuit is producing a signal with sufficient power or sufficient voltage level or not. Based on that, we have to select the oscillator. And accuracy and dial resolution. That is, we will use the oscillator to produce a certain frequency signal. If on the dial it shows 1 kilohertz, and in practice when the output is taken it is giving say 1.1 kilohertz or 900 hertz, then because of the inaccuracy of the dial, calibration of the dial, whatever purpose we are using the oscillator for, that purpose would not be served. So, frequency indicated by this dial should be close to the oscillator output frequency. These three should be taken care of when you are selecting oscillator. And then amplitude and frequency stability. Obvious, this is the very basic requirement for an oscillator. Amplitude should be stable and frequency also should be stable. It should maintain a constant amplitude with variations in the output signal frequency. Waveform distortion. The signal should be distortion free. That is the third requirement. And here that also we have to consider when we are selecting a oscillator. Whether the oscillator is producing a signal with less or amount of distortion or not, that is what we have to check for. It should be the distortion produced by the oscillator should be less than the anticipated distortion. And output impedance. In order to avoid loading of the circuits, output impedance should be within the specified range. Yes, these are the points to be kept in mind while selecting an oscillator. What are the points? First is the frequency range. Second one is power or voltage requirement, whether it is providing sufficient power and frequency, power and voltage or not. Accuracy of dial resolution, that is the dial frequency should be equal to the frequency of output of the oscillator, and amplitude and frequency produced by the oscillator should be stable even when we vary the amplitude and frequency. If we vary the frequency, it has to be at the varied one, at the new one only. It should not fluctuate between the older one and new one. And waveform should be distortion free, and output impedance should be within the limits. So this is all about the introduction to signal generators and what is the classification of signal generators and what are the basic requirements of signal generators, and what is the simple block diagram of a signal generator and how it functions. Now, let us see the questions. What is a signal generator? Signal generator is the source of AC signal producing different shapes of signals with different known frequencies. Various fields where signals generators are used: industries, process industries, communication application, pharmaceutical application, automation application, go on naming. Classification of signal generators based on the frequency range, variety are there. Based on the shape, two types are there, and then based on what is the other criteria? Based on the design principle. Feedback and negative resistance oscillators. Then, what are the requirements of signal generators? Three requirements are there. One is frequency should be known and it should be stable. Amplitude should be known and should be adjustable, and the signal should be distortion free. Distinguish between oscillator and signal generator. Oscillator is the one which produces sinusoidal signal, and signal generator is the one which produces other forms of signals also other than sinusoidal signals. Draw the simple block diagram of basic signal generator, that is oscillator followed by a attenuator, and explain its working. So all this we have seen in the topic. Let us stop here. We will go to the next topic, audio frequency oscillators, within a short time. Please stay connected.